Welcome. In this edition of Kurukshetra, we'll focus mainly on skill development and education with the startups as one of the major focus. So, in India, we talk firstly about the startup culture, and the startup revolution has a vision of 2047. We have more than 119 unicorns. Nearly 18 lakh jobs have been created with a tech valuation of around $10 billion. Now, if we look onto the figures, we would see that there has been development with inclusivity. So specifically with the edtech sector, there has been better accessibility, better equity and diversity. So more of tier 2 and tier 3 cities are now being into the reach which was previously considered as a geographical divide. Under the new education policy, we see there has been a change in the model. The previous model was based on rote learning, specific streams that a student can opt for with no flexibilities, and a community which was meant to create job seekers. However, with new education policy, the idea is flexible and skill-based learning with more of job creators that could be seen, and personalized development that could actually embark the future growth. The next is with the future potential for edtech sector, we see that the AI economic aid addition would be very significant in by 2035. However, as of now, this has been somewhere at around $200 billion, and it is expected to reach up to $1,700 billion. So there has been a significant growth in the edtech sector with more of valuations coming in with AI driven fields. The next is farmers and the innovations. Now here Startup India has transformed, as we said, from job seekers to job creators. So there has been development in the field of agriculture, mainly in the form of development leading from IoT, Internet of Things, drones, the schemes which pertain to Lakpati Didi, which was basically enabling them with drone services, data analytics, AI. So there has been a significant increase in the startups pertaining to agriculture, and the growth has been significant in all the four sectors, be it edtech, agritech, fintech or health tech. So if we talk about the startup rankings, India ranks 5th among the global ranking scale. There has been a significant transition, and in 2016 when the launch of Startup India was done, since then there has been significant policies. For example, Atal Innovation Mission, Manage Mission, the incubation sectors which have been working, the agricultural startups, and then the farmers' impact which has been seen. Now, for the small farmers, the benefit has come from fair pricing, better credit accessibility, more precise use of technology in the form of soil health cards, IoT, drones, optimum usage for an optimum land resource, and then the logistics, which are again AI driven. So better logistics, faster logistics. Now, if we talk about the innovation hub, some of the centers, for example, Maharashtra leads in agri-zone climatical conditions which have very huge diversity, and therefore creates a very strong industry for agri-tech sector. Karnataka has a good leverage for IT industries with cyber tech industries, and then there are other evolving sectors which are through the various means and various forms. The next is the social startup systems, which actually blend innovation with inclusion. As we said, there are numerous startups which have been registered pertaining to more than 1 lakh plus. There has been an exponential growth in the startup sectors which has been recognized from a very meager number to a very significant number. Similarly is true for the unicorn. This unicorn count was only 5 in 2016, which has increased to 118 in 2025. Also, some of the focus areas include health tech, climate resilience, inclusive skillhood, which basically focuses on better livelihood. So there have been various policies One of them is Jam Trinity, which we have covered in numerous sessions, which is Jandan, Aadhaar and mobile together. Then we have the ONDC network, direct benefit transfer, last mile service delivery facility. So bringing in the women entrepreneurs, rural communities, people with disability and transgender together, we can create successful community driven model. Some of the innovations include the Barefoot College and Our Guest. Now Our Guest aims to promote rural tourism, and Barefoot College actually aims to train barefoot professionals, specifically grandmothers, as solar engineers and teachers who do not have a formal degree but can have very good practical skills, which could be game changing. So this idea actually brings in the startup Mahakumbh and the vision for Viksit Bharat. The next is rural entrepreneurship. Now, under rural entrepreneurship, we have numerous entrepreneurs and technology-driven industries. We have policy fundings, training and incubation, and market linkage for the same. Now, besides the basic farming, there are consumer goods which are driven from the local produce, specifically the organic produce. Then the tech industries, modernized based on agriculture. Now, this specifically includes the dairy industries and the regional success stories of dairy industry. For example, Amul, Nandini are some good examples. Now, focusing on the major states where these skills have brought in game-changing effect is Chhattisgarh, Gujarat and Odisha, and there have been numerous youth which have been upskilled. Enterprises have been financed, bringing them better funding sources and innovative abilities, and focusing on reducing the migration, creating better jobs, better livelihood security, and at the same time focusing on climate resilience is one of the major aspects. The next is from manual labor to deep tech. The idea is startups are redefining the waste management through robotic safety, through AI segregation. So rather than human scavenging, now we have robotic scavenging. Water monitoring has been done through IoT. Water sorting, the waste sorting has been done through AI again. And then the concept of biomethanation. So be it the collection, segregation, processing, upcycling, or value generation using waste as a biofuel, all of these required now based on AI and robotics. So this has brought in significant value recovery. So far, the value recovery from the various sectors include nearly 35% for bio-CNG driven components, 30% for organic compost, 30% for recycled plastic, 20% for recycled plastics, and somewhere around 15% for upcycled products. So bioenergy is among those, which is one of the most valuable assets from waste segregation. And then high grade compost, again a very, very important aspect. So if you look onto the inner figure here, you'll see this was the traditional aspect where be it the compliance, be it transparency, safety or accuracy, all of them were at a very low standards. However, compared to the digital first model, where all of this has increased significantly using blockchain, using GPS, data analytics and IoT monitoring. So this has a real world impact with green economy jobs, more of zero waste to the landfills, safe working conditions and 100% traceability that can be taken into accountability. Now with the startup revolution from 2016 to 2025, we have witnessed one of the major growths in the startup industries, not just the registered startups, but the small sectors have also grown, with tier 2, tier 3 cities performing exceptionally well, and a significant contribution coming from women-led directors, which is nearly 45%, again a significant indicator. Now coming on to the next is capital injection mechanism. So government has developed a multi-layer support system to help the startup foundations seed fund scheme. Now this is a early stage capital. Now this can be applied to Atal Innovation Mission, contribution for young minds at schools or to infrastructure for upscaling. Then there can be tinkering labs, incubation centers, or seed fund outlay which could be demarcated. And as you can see, there has been a significant upscale in the job market. So with the use of AI driven technologies, deep technologies, SaaS and fintech, there has been a significant development and growth. Now, with the complex laws that existed previously, there were nearly 29 laws. Those have been consolidated to just 4 laws. Now, this has impacted more than 500 million workers across India. And some of the 4 important laws that have been incorporated includes Code on Wages, which brings in a universal minimum wage, industrial relations, which streamline the dispute resolution, social security, then checking in for women rights, redefining the salary structure with better retirement savings and timely payments within 2 working days, social security for gig workers and platform workers. Now, gratitude eligibility has been reduced. The years of service required were 5 previously, which have now been reduced to 1 year, and this has brought in numerous growth parameters. Also, for women workers, night shifts have been allowed. Special bonus for night shift has been added, and then for ease of doing business, the previous limits have been revised to new limits, and the worker count threshold has increased to 300. The layoff permission threshold has increased to 300%, 300 number of workers, right? So that is again a significant figure. The next is in the rural area. As we said, agri-tech, fintech and clean tech were the major driven factors. Along with that, health has been one of the important parameters. So employment generation and gender gap reduction is one of the major aspects. Drop in the seed stage funding for rural areas is really important, and then there has been various funding parameters which have been very important for the various purposes. Now, women-led entrepreneurship has brought significant developments in the rural areas. Specifically, the major sectors include organic farming, food processing, then you have cottage industry, seed banks as some of the important sectors. So everything related to agriculture directly or indirectly, with agrotech industries at its major growth. And then the initiatives like National Rural Livelihood Mission, the self-help groups have been working to transform the same, and there has been a significant number of memberships in the self-help groups for women rising from 40 million to nearly 90 million plus. Also bringing in better and transparent market access, financial linkages for credit and bank support, and digital platforms. If we look onto the pre and the post intervention for the rural areas, we have seen a significant increase in the family savings, household incomes, the power of decision making by the women, and also the distress migration has significantly reduced, which is a very good indicator. The leadership parameters, as we see, have increased significantly, and this would bring in the gender equity, ultimately leading to the development of the rural areas. The next is innovating the systems. Now, specifically the areas of Himalayan ecosystem, which are considered as one of the most fragile ecosystems in India, the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 is one of the very important aspects. Now, centers like Kedarnath or Badrinath, which are actually at high altitude, we have an exponential growth in tourism, and multi-layered plastics have been introduced. Also, these areas, we need to work on preventing the standard waste burial techniques, making every piece of damage that is being done to the region very visible. So this plastic problem needs to be resolved with the cases of chip packets or other plastics waste. So single-use plastic has been removed thoroughly. Multi-layered plastics have been significantly increased by 45%. Then there are PET bottles, the organic waste, and glass and metal. Now all of these could be recycled significantly, and there have been a reverse vending mechanism which has been introduced. For example, in Kedarnath, reverse vending machines are there. So pilgrims actually deposit the empty waste, specifically the plastic plastic waste, and then they collect the refund for the same. So either it goes into a digital wallet or as a money to use. Now the similar model has been adopted in Leh. Now Leh has a decentralized approach, and therefore in such a high terrain, maintaining things are very very costly. Carbon intensive waste management is again a very big issue. So decentralized model would work very very strongly in a region like Leh, bringing in better efficiency and better waste recycling. So creating wealth from waste is one of the major aspects, and the recycled materials have increased significantly over the years, and this has again created a very high number of green jobs. So bringing in citizen engagement and circular economy is another important focus. In the east, specifically in the northeast regions, we have seen nearly 2,000 startups which have been recognized, with more than 8,000 jobs directly being created, with 45% women-led directors. In the Assam, we have seen highest number of startups as compared to the other states, and these are mainly from agri-tech sector, green innovations, and then IT and digital sector. There are also sectors of tourism, biotech and health which are growing in the region, but agri-tech is one of the major centers. Now some of the major schemes include the Unnati scheme, then there is the Northeast Venture Fund, Act East policy, and some of the good stories come from Assam. The Zerund, which is the eco-friendly brick from the plastic waste which is being made. Now in Assam, the Ish Tea, which is one of the AI integrated tea brands for aggregating all the small farmers for global market, is one of the important success stories. From Nagaland, Jome Foods. Now this actually brings in the wild forest honey from direct to consumer channel, and then Medi Innovation, which is a healthcare innovation facility started in Assam, has brought significant changes. Now even with the local medicinal plants, the growth has been significant. Some of the challenges definitely include the funding, the infrastructure and mentorship. However, through the northeast, we do have access to the ASEAN corridor, which is again a very very important trade route for India, and then the digital northeast would have high speed broadband connections which can bring in significant developments. Now in the Nagaland, there is a project called as Echoes of the Hill, and this focuses on the culture, sustainability and growth, which is mainly pertaining to the Zoom cultivation, with forest entrepreneurs, handicrafts and ecotourism being developed. Now it has a dual purpose of maintaining culture and income along with bringing this to a global reach. So showcasing this through festivals like Hornbill Festival of Nagaland, bringing in the vibrant culture of Naga tribes to the globe, is one of the very very important aspects. So increasing global recognition and tourism footfall in the region, and also creating avenues for agro-driven industries, for example mushroom cultivation, biodiversity preservation and climate resilient agriculture are some of the important aspects. So this model Echoes of Hill actually focuses on four important pillars, which is Sustainable Development Goal 1 of no poverty, Goal 5 of gender equality, Goal 8 of decent work, and Goal 15 of life on land. So those are some of the important things that we have covered in this edition of Kurukshetra. Of course, in the next upcoming editions, we will be covering more important information. So stay tuned. The handouts are available on Exam Race Current Affairs. Don't miss those. Have a great day.